Today we are further up Emigration Canyon.
Welcome back. My name is Julie, and along with my baby brother Ethan, who is out for a visit, and his dog Shibu, one of my current obsessions, well, actually a longtime obsession, is the Donner Reed Party disaster and its place in Utah history. And I'm so excited to bring you along as we discover the history of the Donner Reed Party in the great state of Utah, how it has shaped our present, and what it means to me.
We have stopped at this Donner Hill landmark, and first, can we just appreciate the gorgeous colors here in the canyon? Absolutely lovely. But we're gonna read this, Donner Hill. Now, I will acknowledge, though, this is important, there are conflicting stories, slightly conflicting stories about which hill it actually was, because this marker indicates that it is this hill, but I don't want to fall down, this hill right behind me that it's talking about. But there are conflicting stories of it being that hill, or this one in front of us, or another that's just like a little further up or a little further down. So let's keep that in mind as we read this and appreciate this. There's no way it was this one. Let's read it. Let's read it. Quick, very grim and gruesome side note. But hey, we're already in the grim. Right over here behind me, we'll go into this more another time in another video as we explore, but there's a Ted Bundy location right over there. Another thing you might not have known about Utah. Yes, the infamous, the notorious Ted Bundy graced our fair state. Sick stuff. We'll talk about that another time, more in depth, but right there. Lured by Lansford Hastings' assurance that his shortcut from the well-known trail to Oregon and California would save 250 miles and weeks of travel, the ill-fated Donner Reed Party reached this place August 23rd, 1846. After spending 16 days to hack out a 36-mile road through the Wasatch Mountains, kind of here behind Chi or Ethan. His name's actually Ethan. A 36-mile road. Here at this narrow mouth of the canyon, they were stopped by what seemed impenetrable brush and boulders. I just want us to appreciate that for a moment. We've got this beautiful UDOT crafted highway here. How wonderful. Isn't that great? But apparently at this point in that time, there were what they call impenetrable brush and boulders. So I want you to notice, look at this. Look at this sucker. You see those pokes? Yeah, that's not good times. That is not pleasant. And how many more of those were there through here? Okay, and you're not seeing any boulders, but if you just look up along the cliffs, you'll realize that there's boulders everywhere here. And how many had to be cleared to make this canyon road here, okay? So we don't know what it looked like at that time. In fact, let me see, is that a boulder over there or a pile of dirt? I think it's a boulder, another boulder right over there. So, and then this brush, it doesn't seem like much, but if you are bone weary, tired, hungry, thirsty, and you have to try to get your wagon through this, or you're in your skirts with your button shoes and carrying one kid on this hip and dragging another one along by hand, and this is what you're trying to get through? No. So, all right, back to this. I just want us to appreciate the circumstances and really have the context, okay? Not only that, it was August. This is Utah. Yeah, right here we're in the canyon, okay, and we're here in the middle of October, and the colors are glorious, the weather is just absolutely perfect. That's not what they had in August. No. Okay, so let's see. bone weary of that kind of labor, they decided instead to goad the oxen to climb the hill in front of you. Is that then this hill? It can't be, because there's a river right there. So it's gotta be. Well, they did, that's true, you're right. But which one would it make sense for them to cross? The valley is right down there. So,
why would they go back that way?
I don't know. You're right. Okay, he makes sense. The boy makes sense. It doesn't really make sense for them to go this way when they were coming from here. So,
all right, maybe they were like over on that side and said, hey, let's go. Actually, no, it's good. No, I don't believe that one.
yeah, I don't know. That's why I was saying that there is some discrepancies in what is fact and what isn't. What are you seeing? Yeah, that's a possibility. So I've read different things that claimed one way or the other that it's the hill right here, like this one right behind me, or one a little further down or a little further up. I don't know. But what it says, let's just go with what it says according to the Society of the Sons of Utah Pioneers. This is what they say. Bone weary of that kind of labor, they decided instead to goad the oxen to climb the hill in front of you, be it that hill or that hill. Okay, and let's also keep in mind, we don't know what this looked like, okay? Like I was saying, this road that's here now, how much of this mountain, you can see that it was shaved off right here. So this could have gone all the way down here. We don't know how much of this has been demolished, restructured, whatever. Okay, so where we're standing right here at this moment was an extension, it looks like, of the geology right in front of me. So this would have been a hill itself that we're standing on. And then according to the history, boulders. So this, a hill filled with boulders. Okay, so just kind of get where we're at, well, where they were. 12-year-old Virginia Reed later recalled that nearly every yoke of oxen was required to pull each of the party's 23 wagons up the hill. 23, my goodness. After this ordeal, the oxen needed rest. This is what I was telling you about here, but there was no time. The party pushed on to the salt flats where many of the oxen gave out. This caused delays which led to disaster in the Sierra Mountains. And that's something that he and I were discussing is why? Why didn't they stop? Why didn't they stop and rest?
And like, why was there no time?
Yeah, why was there no time? I understand they were behind schedule, etc. But, and hindsight is 2020. Let's acknowledge that. Okay, we have that benefit of, you know, being however many years later, many years later, nearly 200 years later, actually. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Nearly 200 years later. Holy cow, what, 23 years from now? 24 years from now? 24 years from now, it will be 200 years. Wow.
Still most half of my life, but.
Wow, my goodness. Well, if I'm still alive at that time, we will come back to this anyway and mark that occasion. But we've wondered why they didn't stop and rest. They couldn't have known what they were headed to because Hastings didn't even know that they were gonna have to go across 90 miles, as we saw at another marker, 90 miles of no available water, of just wilderness, salt flats, horror. So maybe they just, it was just down to they didn't know.
This answers.
Oh, so there's some more. Oh, good. Okay. Yay! All right. A year later, July 22nd, 1847, Brigham Young's Pioneer Party, following the Donners and benefiting from their labor, reached this spot. William Clayton recorded their decision. We found the road crossing the creek. Oh, crossing the creek! Crossing the creek! Oh my God, they did. What? We found the road crossing the creek again to the south and then ascending a very steep, high hill. I can't imagine it. I can't for the life of me. I can't. Jesus. Okay. Oh my God. No. No. How is this possible? We found the road crossing the creek again to the south and then ascending a very steep high hill. It is so very steep as to be almost impossible for heavy wagons to ascend, and yet let's keep in mind, like it says here, 23 wagons. 23 wagons with supplies went up this. Pulled by oxen and men, probably women too.
That's where I think that since the creek does go along like the slopes of this hill, I'd say maybe that is more reasonable.
That makes more sense because look at this.
Like rock face.
Yeah, that's a rock face. There's
like
that doesn't make any sense.
That.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you on that. Guys, I'm guessing that and that would make sense with kind of the conflicting stories that I saw, saying it was just a little ways from there. This does make sense.
And all of it still is true because the creek does go along.
There is the creek. Anyway. That would make sense. And going up that godforsaken hill, 23 wagons. So, okay, then that's what the Donners did though. So, these guys come along, the advance party of Brigham Young's, the Mormons, pioneers. So Colonel Markham and another man went over the hill and returned up the canyon to see if a road cannot be cut through and avoid this hill. Brother Markham says a good road can soon be made through the bushes, some 10 or 15 rods. I don't know what kind of distance that is. Well, I'll look it up. A number of men went to work immediately to make the road after spending about oh my God. Oh, that breaks my heart. So many little things that we have found in this journey. A piece of paper left by that bastard Hastings that started this whole madness. And now check this out. This brother Markham, Colonel Markham, after spending about 4 hours of labor, 4 hours, 4 hours. They succeeded in cutting a pretty good road along the creek and the wagons proceeded on. Among the lessons, this is, ouch, all right, this is painful. Among the lessons learned that day was one stated succinctly by Virginia Reed in a letter to prospective emigrants back home. Hurry as fast as you can and never take no shortcuts. And I think that's a lesson for life too. But in that hurrying, as long as you're not trying to cross the plains and get over the Sierra Nevada mountains, yes, hurry in the things that need to be hurried, but also please do take the time to stop and appreciate and enjoy the good stuff, if at all possible. Because you never know. You might end up dying at Donner Lake in the Sierra Nevadas. That took a turn. That took a turn from where I was trying to be inspiring.
It's the same 12-year-old girl.
It is. Yeah.
Part of the party.
Yep.
So she's
can you imagine? She watched this. And at 12, you were helping.
Yeah.
At 12 years old, you were helping. So what all did she do? And how many times did she climb that hill?
Yeah. Carrying
goods, babies, bags. Pots and pans, who knows?
Man, what a asset she would be to people, and that she survived the whole thing.
She survived. She could tell the story. Now, granted, she would be heavily traumatized. Okay, the things she saw and heard, I don't want to think about, but she would be an asset, absolutely, in getting the story. And I want to read her letters, her correspondence, any journals she might have written. I'm going to look into it. But just look at that as we leave. I just want you to appreciate that. I have had a rough couple of years physically with health calamity after calamity, and I have had what has felt like my own mountain to climb. Oh, and a mountain I do want to climb. But look at this.
And yet this is the trail that they took, that was only 4 hours, like that was how
they ended up,
like instead of doing this, that's what they did.
it's bizarre. It's
if only they had
bizarre
somebody like this Markham guy with them
that knew.
Let's try something else.
And there's a lesson in there. There's a metaphor in there of having fresh eyes, different eyes, not getting stuck on one path as the only possible way, of thinking outside of the box. He went, how many rods was it? 15 rods another way. Did it say which direction? He went over the hill and returned up the canyon. So he went backwards. That is the difference. They would have been so tired and so desperate, it would have been hard to even fathom going backwards.
Yeah.
But he did. He went backwards to look for an alternate route, and it saved them.
I feel bad for the oxen.
Oh, those
The
poor
wording of
oxen.
this where it's like, there was like, so they needed to rest, but there was no time, and then they finally gave out. It's like, geez.
Out on the salt flats.
Poor guys.
Awful. And now, a heavily traveled road. Especially this time of year, before the snow closes this off sometimes, which it does. It can close off this canyon. But right now, the beautiful colors, it's a wonderful place. But at that time, it was a place of unimaginable labor and suffering and struggle. We are going to head off to our next location as we scout out the Donner Reed Trail through Utah. Will we get through all of it, all that's available this year before winter? Probably not. And I don't see us forging our way through in the middle of winter the way that the Donner Reed party did. Mostly because we don't have to. How lucky are we? I appreciate you coming along for this and our other adventures. I do hope that you are subscribed. And hey, there's a like button down there. Little thumbs up. We wouldn't mind if you clicked it. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you all very soon.